Hey everyone and welcome back to Storytime. My name is Jake and today we're going to be looking at the subreddit r/talesfromretail, where people tell us their best stories about their bosses, employees and those interesting customers they see daily. No, you can't have his change. I worked as a grocery store cashier in the early 90s. Most of my difficult customers were simply confused senior citizens. Florida. But one heck of a Karen sticks out in memory. Also one roid rager, but another day for him. We were down the street from a sports centre where a number of pros trained. They shopped with no issue, until one got himself into a big tabloid trouble. He was always great, but the paparazzi were not. While he was shopping, my co-worker came back from her smoke break to report the paparazzi outside. The pap got frisky and came in. That was strictly against company policy, but the paparazzi was a douche about it. He wound up screaming assault when our manager wouldn't let him further in the store. I headed back to give the athlete a heads up, offered to let him leave out the back. He handed over 2 20s and said to keep the change. I went shopping for duplicates of his stuff so I could ring it up and not mess up inventory. Also, I had no idea how else to handle getting the money into the store coffers without my register coming up way over. Bad metrics. When I finished ringing it up, a Karen appeared out of thin air. She wanted to know what I was doing. I explained. She saw me put the money in the register and make change. I was legit not sure what to do with it. I couldn't take tips, only baggers. My manager was still arguing with the paparazzi and waiting for the cops. I set it to the side and turned to Karen to figure out what she wanted, as her stuff wasn't on the belt. Karen wanted to know what I was going to do with that money, and why it wasn't secured in the register. Was I stealing it? I explained. She demands, "Give it to me." I was at no on that. I didn't know what I was supposed to do with it, but not give it to Karen. She started having a screaming fit that I was stealing from the store and tried to grab the cash. I snatched it up first and stuffed it in the charity bin, figuring that would end it. Nope, she kept screeching and tried to open the charity bin for her money. 2 cops arrived about then and split up between the incidents. Karen's story changed as soon as she saw the cops. Also, her demeanour. Suddenly, she was super sweet. That was her stuff I just rang up. Now I wouldn't give it or the change to her. I'd stuffed the change in the bin and she was just trying to get it back. I needed to be fired and arrested. Meanwhile, Karen still had a full car right behind her. I suggested pulling the security tapes. The cops liked that idea. Karen kept smiling sweetly and telling me how I was about to learn what it's like to get fired. I should have given her the money. It would have been no skin off my nose, but now she's going to destroy my life. I have to listen to this crap for quite a while because the paparazzi is screaming First Amendment, and it takes time for the security tapes to be pulled and reviewed. Sure enough, I can be seen arriving with a basket and money well before Karen shows. She sputtered and insisted both were hers. She was shopping for a friend and I'd been helping her. They pull more tapes. I was never anywhere near Karen while she was shopping. The cops looked at my manager. Does he want her arrested or escorted out? Our national never likes to approve bans from the store without arrests. So, arrest. Karen flipped out, screeching that she'd never touched the money or the stuff. She'll sue. Karen and the pap left in cuffs. They got to share the back of a police car. I think they deserved each other. I don't know what charges, if any, stuck for either of them. Security footage and statements were taken. At least it completely ruined both of their days, and we had their cars towed. I'm trying to figure out who had it worst. Was it the Karen for having to be in the police car with the paparazzi, or the paparazzi having to be in the police car with the Karen? But I'm pretty sure it was the officer who had to deal with them both. So you're going to go dumpster diving then? Customer my husband dealt with today. My husband works in cell phones. He's a manager. They had a customer come in and buy a new phone and had one of those phone cases with a wallet built into the back where he kept his driver's license/credit cards, etc. A day after he leaves, he calls and tells my husband he can't find his phone case with his info and needs them to look for it. My husband asked his employee who worked with him if she had seen it. She said she distinctly remembered putting it in the bag with his other things. Husband tells customer this, and this is what happened. Well, your employee is wrong, because it's not here. It must have gotten thrown away. We have a very loyal cleaning crew who empties the trash every night, sir. They would have seen it if it had. There's just no way. It has to be in there. It literally cannot be anywhere else. Well, we have the dumpsters out back, so if it was in the trash, that's where it would be. So how long will it take you to dig in the dumpster to find it? You want me to dumpster dive for a phone case that wasn't thrown away? Yes, this is your responsibility. We share a dumpster with 3 food establishments and 1 hair salon. I will not be taking any of my time to dig through that. You can feel free. You know where we're located. The customer told him to go away and that he was a disgrace to his company. My husband laughed and told him that he hoped the rest of his day was as pleasant as he was. Only a kid would think like this. I'm a volunteer at a charity shop, and I spend a lot of my time at the front with the customers. This means that I see a lot of people and come across all sorts. During a quiet period, a young boy, probably 6 or 7 years old, came into the shop accompanied by a woman who I assumed was his grandmother. They looked around for a while before coming up to the counter, where we have a small display of knitted chicks. These chicks are, as the name suggests, knitted chicks in various colours. The bonus is that they contain a chocolate egg as a treat. The boy sees them, and then the following conversation takes place. I like the look of these. Oh, they're pretty. Look, there's even an egg inside. I think I'll get one, addressing me. How do I get the egg out? I pick up one of the chicks. You cut along this thread here. It's separate from the rest of the chick, so it won't unravel. The boy is silent for a moment. I've changed my mind about getting one. Why is that? Well, I don't want to kill the chick to get the egg. At this point, I had to stop myself from bursting out laughing. Professional demeanour and all that, while the woman attempts to convince the boy that the chick will be alright. He's not convinced, and they both leave without purchasing anything. As soon as they were out of sight, I laughed so hard and had a coughing fit. Apparently, I have terrible language. So the store I worked at sometimes had VAT-free Sundays, which were days where everything was 25% off, with exceptions of course. And as you can imagine, those days were quite busy. So I'm working a usual customer service shift, trying to help 5 people at a time, while having to dance around 2 to 4 people behind my desk because my co-worker, for some reason, prefers to use the customer service computer instead of their own departments. One such co-worker is now standing and talking with a customer, half covering the computer but not using, and since I need it, I ask him to move. Usually, when I want people to move, I say something that's roughly translated to, "Please move your pretty butt," but it was busy, I was stressed, and I might have just said something along the lines of, "Your butt's in the way." My co-worker jokingly tells me that it wasn't very polite, because I'm usually really polite with people. His customer then chimes in with her agreement that it was very rude of me. Me, being already focused on what I had to do for my customer, either just say, okay, or give some sort of half apology. I figured if it really annoyed my co-worker, then we could talk about it later, when we weren't swamped. The customer sees this as an opportunity to start a tirade about how rude I am, and how customers shouldn't be hearing such terrible language. And she wanted my name because she was definitely sending a complaint about this, because it's just completely unacceptable. I can't remember the complete wording, because I was more focused on figuring out how to help my own customers than listening to a whole speech about how I'm the devil incarnate for not saying please. But I give some nods and some okays in her direction, which might not have helped my case, but come on. She ended up getting my name, I wear a name tag, she got the help she needed from my co-worker, I figured out how to help my customer, and I never heard anything from corporate. Stop talking and start working. Context. So I work at a popular fast fashion store, and this happened while I was on the cash register. One lady put down a big pile of clothes on the counter, so I scanned them and she paid for them. But as I was folding them and putting them in the bag for her, I noticed that there was one item, socks, that I had accidentally didn't scan because it was under the other clothes and it was pretty small, so I didn't notice that it was there. I also double checked the receipt I gave her and it wasn't there. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't realise that these socks were here because they were hidden underneath everything. Whoops. I'm really sorry about this, but I'm just gonna have to scan it and you have to pay for it on another transaction, since I missed it originally. So, you mean I have to do the transaction all over again? Oh no, don't worry. All you have to do is insert your card one more time now to pay for just this one item. Once again, I'm so sorry about this. Well then, you need to stop talking and start working. At this point, I was really confused, because I was being really nice to her. And I don't get what goes through people's minds, to be honest. I just went quiet, and at the end I said, "Thank you, have a good day." To which she gave me a dirty look and walked away quietly. Lol, I don't know who hurt her. Hey everyone, I hope you're all having a really good day and that you enjoyed that video. If you did, remember to leave a like on it and subscribe if you aren't already. If you want to check out some other videos, then click on screen right now or check out the playlist down below. But thank you again for watching and I will see you soon.